What's going on, everybody? It's Rock D. Lee. I'm back in the doghouse again, coming at you guys with a little take on The Boys. I had a nice response from one of our users, Chance. And originally I was coming back with a long response myself. I have to fine tune what I say sometimes. Here's the reality. I'm the kind of YouTuber that cares about their comment section. Go figure. So every now and then I read something and I try to differentiate between the trolls and people who have something meaningful to say. So when you're just a troll, I read the comment, I'm like, oh, that's a troll, whatever. And then there is people who, they're just not a troll. They just have a valid opinion, valid thoughts. The thing about Chance's comment that took me off guard is Chance also watches my K-dramas, I believe. I recognize the user. And when I'm reading her review on my opinion on Homelander, I sense that Chan has some disappointments about my character because I say things and it's like, you can't really believe that. And that's what we're gonna talk about today. So let's break down Chance's comment. This is The Boys season 2. Guys, in order to watch this video, you have to at least seen up to The Boys season 2 episode 4. If you haven't, then you should not be watching this video. Let's cover that. She goes, yo, Rock D, I have some questions. Why is it Homelander all of a sudden innocent until proven guilty, considering all the things he's done? I get your stance in literal terms, but the way you double down on approving his behavior in the show just makes me that much more sus. Makes me more understanding of why people say you support the R word. Pause. The reason why that just came up is because in season 1 episode 8, Homelander, it was revealed that Homelander did the R word, I'm not saying it on YouTube, to Becca, and I didn't necessarily believe it, right? It wasn't necessarily that I don't believe it or do believe it. It's more like, given the fact that it's Mallory and Butcher, and we just had some major revelations that Becca's not even dead, Becca has a baby, and the baby lived, I now have to take a step back and say, look, all this information that y'all packaged to me, I had to call that in question until further notice. That's really what happened. So it's not necessarily that I believe in Homelander being this upstanding person. It's more about, I don't know anything anymore. I don't know anything. And when it comes to writers, sometimes in a show, everything is gearing up to this person. He's so awful. So of course he also committed this egregious act. And it's like, maybe that's the one thing that person didn't do. But anyways, before we continue with this video, make sure you smash a thumbs up, drop a subscribe on this channel. If you don't follow me on Twitter, go ahead and do so. Let's continue with this topic. So that's really what it is with the Homelander part. It's not that I believe this man is incapable of doing something so heinous. It's more like there's a lot of directions this show can go. And it just wouldn't surprise me if they were led to believe something and then boom, it's not exactly what it appears to be. Everyone can see the way Becca responds to him, how fearful and uncomfortable she is. Why isn't it okay to believe the story we are told? Because the information was given to us through Mallory and Butcher at a time when we believe Becca was dead, at a time when we believe Becca's kid was also not around. I now have to take this whole story that I've been given and go like, I don't know anything about this story. Y'all have to go back to all the details and reconfirm this original incident that happened. That's where we're at right now. Let me continue. By the way, always respect our comments. This is a good comment. I like it. Like I said, I don't get why you've taken the stance, but the way you joke in the video earns a side eye here and there. I get it. I have no defense for my jokes because sometimes I do push it. I really do. Like, come on now. You honestly believe someone like Homelander should have access to an innocent child? This is where things get interesting, guys. Just because he's his, that is something I said. Mind you, as of episode 2, I was operating that, yo, we can't believe any of this information. Homelander is a lot of things, but I don't know if he's the R word based on where we are in the story. So it's just literally him being a bad person is all I was operating with. Let's not even bring up Ryan's conception. I'm talking about Homelander just being who he is as a person. See, that's key because Chance is meeting me where I am. Chance is acknowledging, I understand that you don't believe he's the R word, but he's a terrible guy. He's a prick. And you believe he should have access to his child. How can you as a viewer take the stance that he deserves to visit after what you've seen him do? Vought knows him better than anyone. and they thought it was smart enough to try and hide the kid away, exclamation mark. Let's say that again, right? She's like, yo, Vought knew this man better than anybody, and they thought it was best to keep the child away. Enjoying the character is awesome. It's when you get to defending the BS for jokes that just confuses me. Is it contrarianism or for contrarianism? I don't know. I know what the word means, but pronouncing it is another thing. Okay, Chance called me out. As you can see, I actually attempted a response, and I'm actually stopped. I was like, I'm just gonna do a video. I'm a YouTuber. I do videos for a living. Why would I write? I don't know how to say contrarianism. I'm gonna leave that up. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. First of all, if you guys have high standards on me, I'm going to fail a lot of times, right? Let's just cover that a lot of times. A lot of times when I cover reaction videos, especially in the because I do a reaction part and I do a discussion part. The reaction part is much more just how I raw felt at that moment. When I first started reactions, I used to talk a lot. I still technically do. People say I talk too much. So a lot of times I won't complete my thought until the end of the video. And there are reactions where we talked for like 30 minutes and I had to let someone else talk, give someone else a chance, right? So I don't even complete all my thoughts. So a lot of times you guys are operating with incomplete information, especially if you don't finish the review. The other thing is, if I said something in one review, I likely won't bring it up again in the previous review, because again, that turns a 30-minute review into an hour review if I bring up all the things I already said on past videos. Once you start skipping videos or you don't listen to end discussions, you have to start accepting that you're not going to have the complete picture. This whole comment is about respect, and Chance has given me content to talk about and allow myself to clarify myself, right? It was never about me trusting Homelander. It was always about Butcher not having complete story. Mallory, I don't know this Mallory woman. She works for the CIA. They said that we had weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Let's not go there too much, but I grew up in a day and age where I don't have a lot of faith in the intelligence community, right? And now when our country says things about not invading other countries, it's the first thing people throw back at us. It's like, y'all the same country that invaded another country over false pretenses. We are not going to trust you guys. I don't trust the intelligence community. So once we start finding out that half the story was false, like Becca being alive and a baby being there, and Vaught's lying too, because Vought is being used as a person of credibility. Vought trusts that we shouldn't trust Homelander. Anyways, the powers that be are not trustworthy. Homelander's not trustworthy, and I scrutinize all the information. I've never actually seen Homelander lie, other than what he does like in the PR stuff. When you're just talking to him face to face, he doesn't lie. I've never seen him lie face to face. And I might think he's so powerful, like why would he lie? He'll do the PR stuff. You know, that's what I was looking for. I was like, Homelander hasn't confirmed this. He's not the kind of lie. He'll do a lot of heinous stuff. He'll murder people, but he's not a liar, you know? I never met Becca at this point. They've shown some little glimpses of her. Oh, actually by season 2, episode 2, you started seeing a little bit of Becca, but she didn't say the full story. And the user says that she was a little fearful, and I apologize. I really wasn't reading Becca's signs. Back to Homelander. Yes, I really like these antagonists who have protagonist spotlight. So if you follow me on a lot of my reactions, Eren Yeager, Attack on Titan, love him as a character. Homelander, love him as a character. Yo, there was a person I was talking to and I was like, yo, can you guess who I like in the new Obi-Wan series? She accurately said Reva. She knew exactly who I was gonna pick. I like these characters. So in a reaction video, every now and then, I'm gonna get blinded by my like for these characters, and I'm going to say or believe things that, you know, if you really ask me seriously, it's gonna sound like I'm going to change it, but hear me out. You ever had someone do something bad to you? I fucking killed that person, right? And then someone goes, you ain't gonna kill, you ain't gonna do shit. And it's like, you're right. I feel that way, but I would never do something like that. It's the same thing. So I really like Homelander. Sometimes things happen. I'm like, yo, he should have absolute right to see his goddamn kids, right? Because it's like one of my friends got out the joint, you know, they did some stuff and they're, you know, now they're trying to see their kid, and that's my homie. I'm like, yo, you're not gonna, you guys aren't gonna let my homie see his kids, you know? And then someone says, yo, but your homie did X, Y, and Z. Is that the kind of person who should see their kids? I'm like, logically, you're right. But how I feel, that's what I go through a lot of times. So back to Vought. Vought keeping Homelander's child away, I was never sold on the notion that they did that because they don't think Homelander is going to be a good dad. They don't like Homelander. Vought ain't shit. Vought ain't shit. Everyone knows Vought ain't shit. Homelander's not shit. It's just two not shit people against each other. They just want full access to raising Homelander's son however they want him to be because they're trying to keep Homelander in check, okay? They can't have Homelander and his son on the same goddamn team trying to check both of them. Hard enough checking Homelander. It's gonna be harder if he also has a son with the same goddamn powers as he does, right? So there is some of that in the story. You know, I just felt that way because that was my reaction. And when we're watching a series like The Boys, Invincible, Obi-Wan, I love the Sith when it comes to Star Wars. I love them. Sometimes I joke that the Jedi ain't shit because they're out there snatching up young people to brainwash them in the Jedi way. Sometimes I say things like that. I low-key believe that. I do, but at the same time, it's like, come on, that's not really what's happening. I'm gonna say things. I'm gonna do things like that. So to take it all home, truthfully, do I think Homelander has a right to see his kid? In the grand scheme of things, I'm gonna say no, because you're forcing me to be mature right now. He's a sociopath, homicidal maniac. But because I like him as a character, strictly in this character, and it only gets better, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the more I see Homelander, the more I'm like, man, this character's fire. But as my friend, if I was one of the if I was on the 7, Noir, put me on there, right? I'm like, yo, that's my homie. Y'all gonna let him see his kid. You're gonna let him see his kid. And I think it's the topic of seeing your kid is an interesting one, right? Because if you're a bad person, you shouldn't see your kid, right? That's the politically accurate answer. But there's some nuance, right? When, like, for example, so we say Homelander can't see Ryan. Now that we've seen episode 4, it's been confirmed that he's committed the R word just on that right. I'm not even talking about being politically correct. No, you don't have access to your kid. But going back to the original argument about Homelander being a bad person, as such should not be allowed to see his kid, where are we going to draw the line here is one of my questions, right? So if Homelander finds a woman that mutually is in love with him, literally is in love with Homelander, and Homelander has a kid with this woman, right? We're just gonna just show up and snatch Homelander's kids, all of his kids. Every time Homelander has a kid, we snatch him up. Now we're going to reality. If felons have kids, every time a felon has a kid, we just go in there and snatch up their kid and say, you don't have a right to raising your kid because you are a felon. I grew up with a lot of rappers that said whatever they said on things on these albums, fake gangsters, right? But when they actually raise their kids, the kids come out to be, no, I should say come out to be all right, but they actually try to raise their kids to be good because they live this gangster life, but oftentimes they don't want their child to live the same life, right? Like I said, there's a lot of wanksters in this rap business. I'm not trying to say, oh, I listen to rappers, they're good, you know, and they were real gangsters to begin with. I don't actually know that, but it opens up a whole lot of questions that where are we drawing the line that we snatch up or we don't provide parents the opportunity to interact with their kids because we start judging their character versus their skills, upbringing a kid, or that nature will just happen. Speaking for me specifically, this is a long video. I do this as kind of a rant. Speaking for me specifically, obviously I was never like Homelander. Let's all get that covered. I wasn't the best person to be a dad because I was immature, and I'm actually still immature. But for some reason, I just do good as a dad. And if anyone wants to call that into question, that's on you. My kid is not going to call that into question. And my wife won't call that into question. My wife might complain about me being a husband, but she never complains about me in the dad category. And it's because I know what it's like to be a big kid and all that stuff, and my experience just in life, I just work out that I'm a good dad. But again, I'm not like Homelander, so it's so different too when it's fictional. You know, if this was written off of a true story and there's a real guy like that, I feel that I would feel so much differently. But it's fiction. The rules, there are no rules. It's a universe that doesn't exist like ours. Once this universe becomes canon to our actual society, then holding my opinions or holding my thoughts get much more real. Like my voting decisions. Y'all should question me about my voting decisions. I'm not gonna answer you, but who I vote for has real impact to this world. But for this person, I see what it is. It's that separating fiction from reality. It's like, is that how you really believe? Is that how you really think? What kind of person am I following? What kind of person am I potentially supporting? That's what I see is happening. So with a grain of salt, I am saying this is how we're ending the video. With a grain of salt, how I feel in a reaction video, even how I feel in a discussion point, it's not like I don't actually believe it. I just know it's wrong. There are certain things that I believe, I think and I know it's wrong, I will never act on it. And if anyone else thought the same way I thought, I'd be like, yeah, you probably shouldn't think that way. I'm just messed up. I conceived that thought and I already know it needs to be corrected, but this is how I feel. There's people like Blind Wave who have these very mature reactions. God bless them. Very mature. I don't do that way because I already have to be mature in life. You guys don't know me outside these reactions. I do real estate. I have to be very mature, right? I want to be able to show a house and say to people, God damn, this is a big ass house. I can see you raising your family here. You know what I mean? That's how I want to talk to them, but I can't do that. I have to say, wow, this is an immaculately large home. I know you said you want to have 4 kids or you have a family of 4. There's going to be plenty of space for you guys to raise your family. Oh, wow. I can see little Jimmy right there in the backyard. Just put a gate around there. You don't have to worry about the alligators. You know, there might be some gators in that water. Make sure you protect little Jimmy. That's how I have to talk. That's not how I want to talk, but I do talk like that, you know? So the reaction videos for me is a little bit of an escape, you know? You can just say whatever you want to say. But the bigger the channel gets, the less that ability is there because you start having real responsibility as people are following you. You know, we haven't dealt with a character like Homelander in a while, so Chance is probably following me on some of the K-dramas. I think that's where I remember Chance. Follow me on some of the K-dramas where I have more responsible opinions, responsible decision making. Again, I don't have a guy like Homelander in the story. So that's that. So that's where we are, Chance. And you probably got nothing out of watching that. It's just I think that you get that I am going to disappoint you. I am going to say immature things in videos. And if you seriously ask me about it, like, do you really feel that way? And it's like, I feel that way, but it's wrong. And I will never act on it. And I'm ultimately going to condemn it. But in an entertainment reaction video, I'm gonna let it flow. Just like how some of these fake rappers, but yo, I'm gonna shoot up the whole block. And you find out that Terrence lives with 2 parents in the suburbs, don't even own a gun. He's just saying that stuff because it's entertaining, it's funny, it's whatever it is. So that's my final thoughts. Now onto why I actually like Homelander. I always like villainous characters, anti-heroes, especially in the case of Homelander. The actor has phenomenal charisma. You can see him put on that smile. I do it. I'm smiling right now. And then when people go away, it's like, fuck. Imagine putting on an awesome video and you said all these funny ass opinions and there's someone that says, I cannot believe you said that. We're not talking about you, Chance. Love you, Chance. But someone goes, I cannot believe you said that. I have to look at you guys like this. You know, hey, you know, sometimes I don't say things right. But in the back of my mind, I might be like, fuck. And then the heat vision eyes start going on, you know? I think that Homelander can represent a lot of us if we truly had ultimate power and we're not accountable to anybody. I can see why Chance has an issue then, because it's like, Lee, you're a nice guy, you're a handsome guy. So it's like, how would you be if you had power and nobody can stop you? What would your opinions be? Who would you be? That's a question for all of us. So I like to say that I'd still be a good person. I do have a conscience. So I wouldn't be like Homelander. I can certainly tell you that much. I might be closer to Butcher. Nah, Mother's Milk. I'm gonna say I'm closer to Mother's Milk. That's probably who I am. I'll get involved in the fucked up shit, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to get back to my family. You know what I mean? So certainly not perfect, certainly not conclusive. I hope it gives you an idea of how I think, why I think the way I think, why I just say some of the things I want to say. And if you guys rock with it or you don't rock with it, so be it. Much love, folks. Much love to you, Chance. I thank you for the comment and forcing me to really think about who I am as a person and why I say the things that I say. If you guys are not subscribed to this channel, I ask that you guys do so. Much love to you. I'm active on Twitter. I hope to see you guys later. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, please go ahead and do so. The link is in the description of this video, and I actually tweet back. Much love, Rock T. Lee.